Hello, folks. L.A. Little here with TA Today, bringing you neoclassical technical analysis on a regular basis, giving you trading ideas, setups, and thoughts about where this market is and where it's going. Let's get into it. Hey, folks. Welcome to the TA Today wrap. I'm going to give you a quick overview of what I'm thinking. If you look at the markets last week, they were up again, 1%. Flat on the Nasdaq, S&P not that much. NDX was the one that pushed up. Look at the year to date though. I mean, these kinds of gains are like, they're not once in a lifetime, but they're not every day, right? 82% on the semis. They were up almost 100% at one point. You got 38% on energy, right? You just go down the list. Technology, 32%. Of course, a big part of that is the stocks. So huge gains, right? It's doing it had been doing a little bit of consolidation. And the question is, can we get more? And I think we can. And the reason for that is the last man standing theory. And basically, what we're saying is that when you have the indexes, right, all basically doing the same thing going up, and you don't have the NDX at new highs, everything else is, you're probably going to get the NDX to the new highs, and it's about 2.3% away. I suspect we're going to get there, and we're probably going to do it fairly quickly. And what that means to me is that you can trade it, right? You can go into levered vehicles. You can multiply that by 2 or 3, get 4 to 6. You can go into something even more, leveraged if you want to with options or even with futures. So that's an opportunity. That's an opportunity that's out there. What's the risk? Well, if you look at the rates are at risk. This is the weekly. It broke out, came back in to do a bullish retest regen, right? And now it's trying to regenerate. If this works higher, this is a problem, right? We're already at 4.7. That's pretty high. If you pull it over and look at the monthly, though, 474 is the next number, and then 502. So even if we push higher, my take is we'll probably get another retrace and then try to break the top. So it doesn't appear to me that this is going to happen immediately. It's a problem. It continues to fester. It continues to be a problem. If it continues to work higher, which the market is doing, then it's going to be an issue, not just a problem. And that doesn't look like it's immediate, but it's not that far away. SOX is the next major resistance and major issue, I should say. If you remember now, the SOX actually pushed up into this bearish retest regen. And when it got there, it was unable to get over it and stay over it. In other words, it poked over it right here, but it was unable to stay over it. And so these last 3 bars are kind of critical. You get a gap up and they sell it. You get a push up over that bearish retest regen, they sell it. You push down, they buy it, right? There's a swing point high sitting right above. What does this tell you? Well, it tells you there's a huge supply line here, right? And that supply line is connected with these things that you see over here. And so as you push into that price point, right, it's having a difficult time. That's where the sellers are. And either you push in there enough and you eat up the supply, or you roll back over, one of the two. I don't know how deep it is. Nobody does. And the question is how many people are willing to buy it and push it up higher? Those are always questions that you don't know until you get some sort of a signal. And so far, the signal we've gotten is, yes, there's a lot of supply. That's these 2 bars. But then there's dip buyers too. And so, the jury's still out here. So that's the SOX. MAGs. The MAGs pretty much have opened up the possibility of a run to the highs, and more than likely they're going to make that run. And so if I look at this chart and the way it's set up, it looks to me like the MAGs are going to contribute to the NDX moving higher. S&P. S&P weekly, if you see it, it's an over-under less volume. That's usually a negative, but the caveat here is it really hasn't traveled that far yet. And so it kind of discounts that, makes me think that that's probably not what's going to happen. If I go over the daily, there's really no retraces. That perpetuates this idea of FOMO, the fear of missing out. And right now, that's what we've got. You got this spike up, a little consolidation, right? Kind of a flag consolidation, and now you're trying to make the next leg. I don't know if it's going to be able to push without any more, let me say it a different way. This could easily consolidate in this area or even a little bit higher. It doesn't have to keep grinding higher and higher and higher. It may do that, but it doesn't have to. And so to me, this one is kind of it's not a hugely bullish in that it's already pressed quite a bit and it could fall back some and consolidate more. But it's certainly not bearish the way it is. If it falls back, it probably gets bought. Russell 2K just broke out, right? It was broke out last week, and now you close at a new higher high. That's pretty bullish. And here's the NDX. This is the last man standing. Hasn't gotten there yet. If you look at it, it just broke over on this bar, right? Broke over. So if it does fall back, it's probably going to get bought and get a regenerate. These are the levels it's going for. Swing point high, swing point high, swing point high. Those are incremental targets on the way to a new high, which I do suspect it will make. Precious metals. This is kind of no man's land. If the dollar sells off, then this is going higher. If the dollar doesn't sell off, I wouldn't be surprised to see a gap fill in this area here. It could come all the way down to here. If it does, it's a great buy. And so that's kind of where that's at. Bitcoin. Bitcoin's the one market that just can't seem to find a buyer. And it's got these swing point lows. They're all congruent. If it falls much more, it's probably going back to the lows. Oil's pretty irrelevant. I've outlined some trading ideas here for you. And then if I go over and look at, once I get through all these, if I go over and look at the secondary indicators, starting to get to the point where these are going to be a problem. And when you get into, September, it's definitely going to be that way, right? September, 1st of October. I mean, if you look at it, by October 21st, everything is stretched. And so somewhere between now, right, we're on 8/15, roughly the middle of August, somewhere between the middle of August and the middle of October. So the next 2 months, we're likely going to see some sort of a decent retrace. That's what these are telling us. If we go to the trend breadth, this is telling us the same thing. The corrective case is when the green line gets above this 65 percentile number, right? This number here. We're not there, but if we do continue to push up and get up there, right, and price gets up wherever it's going, that's when you have the possibility of a larger reset. And so that also, again, aligns with what we just talked about on the MTTFs. Greed and fear, you got more greed and fear. Crypto's in the sink, or in the toilet, I should say. And the AI sentiment, for whatever reason, the bears still outnumber the bulls. And to me, that's sort of bullish, not bearish. If we go to the bottom line here, I think rather than retrace, these markets are seeing follow through, and that danger is in the rates, like we said. There's a danger also that everything being so bullish. I mean, we got sky high earnings, inflation numbers soft, the soft employment. Everything just keeps coming up right, and this market's able to work higher off of that. You've also got the last man standing theory, which suggests NDX is going to hit a new high before this is over. The secondary indicators indicate there's more time, right? And it looks like the SOX or the MAGs can drive those gains. So how can I be anything other than bullish near term? I think a little bit later, like I said, somewhere between now and the middle of October, you're going to get a decent reset. I think that's probably going to fall somewhere 3 or 4 weeks from now. That would be my guess. I can't pinpoint that, but I hope that helps. Have a great one. Give me a like if you enjoy these videos. That way I know, and keep coming back, and subscribe. I'll see you next time. Take care.